Okay, I'm just going to give some people a few minutes to join, so we'll start in just a few minutes, okay? Sorry, everyone, I'm having a thing with the YouTube. Just give me 1 second and bear with me. All right, and here we go. All right, hi everyone. Today is our 34th town hall, and I'm joined by Rachel, so let's get things started. All right, Jared, you're up first.
Yeah, so basically I just wanted to bring focus and attention to the application performance stuff again. I definitely know this has already got a lot of great progress is happening on the engineering side. It definitely isn't represented in Wrike though, which means I think there's a communication failure somewhere along the line. There's certainly people delegated to this, and I've definitely been espousing this since the beginning of the quarter. I just want to make sure that we have timelines for this and we're on track for it, because this is something that we really need to get done by the end of the quarter. Like, the UI needs to be buttery smooth, and the user experience in terms of opening the application and switching between applications and having the application run in the background, it needs to be comparable with other applications. So if there's anyone that's working on something and they know they can be working on application performance, maybe consider switching to it. I'd certainly appreciate it. It'd be great if we can get this well represented in Wrike. I just want to stress this again, like how important this is. I think everyone knows, but I'll stop nagging now. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Jared. All right, next up, Nabil.
Yeah, I wanted to give a quick update on what John's been working on, specifically what's happening in Wrike and working on what does V1 look like. So if we look over the past week, there's been a little bit of changes to how things have been set up. So if you look at from the last town hall to now, we've got a small little dashboard here that allows us to see progress that's been made. There hasn't been much because only a few teams have started to use it, but we can see there's 129 total tasks that need to be done for us to ship V1, of which 16 have been done. Now, this is not all, this also isn't exhaustive, so there's probably more stuff that needs to be there. And so as this data starts getting filled in, we're able to get a more accurate understanding of the importance of work, the amount of work, and also it can help prioritize. You can, for those who are interested, this is all available inside of Wrike right now. Moving on to the next slide. There's some pretty cool features. This is just a bit of a teaser into some of the stuff that you can do. So if you have work allocated assigned to you, Wrike has this cool feature where you can basically just go and say, like, check your inbox or check my work, and it basically outlines exactly the stuff that needs to be done. So it makes life a lot easier in terms of making it like your virtual to-do list where everything is kind of linked together. Here's just an example of what mine looks like today. There's also some dashboards that have been created on the next slide. These are dashboards that are simply linked from GitHub. So now there's about 7 of our repos that have been synced. And when you map across each team, you can actually start to get views like this. So core UI, core, and design teams, it's a many-to-many relationship. So basically you can map out what specific swarms are working on. This is just an example of what can be done. And obviously data reliability becomes important if we want to actually get true representations, which leads me on to the next point around work that still needs to be done. Now, this this is hopefully gives people like an overview of the type of stuff that can be done. If you don't want to use it, or you're like, you just want to stay inside of GitHub, completely fine. Can you click on the next slide? Yeah, so the main thing for people who want to just stick to GitHub is basically making sure that the assigned issues or the state of a given bug is accurately represented, because then that's mapped across to Wrike. You can also do things like time boxing inside of GitHub using the due date field. So there's a bunch of stuff that can be done that can be synced across, and then other people can deal with the mapping. Specifically, the janitors can deal with that. Right now, as I said, there's only 7 repos that have been synced, and hopefully as those 7 get properly kind of filled out and we are solving the data sync issues, we can map out the rest. We also hopefully can figure out dependencies, so we can say, okay, well, this work can't be done until this one is done, etc. And then hopefully that can then get synced back into GitHub. So these are all the things that still need to be done. It seems like a lot, but I think over the coming weeks and months, we should be able to have a pretty seamless method of work. I'm not a big fan of project management, complex project management software. But in this case, I actually think it does a really good job of just sitting in the background, considering how good the integration is with GitHub. And for the most part, and for the majority of people, it's just simple things in the day-to-day workflow just to keep, on the data accuracy side that need to be done, and everything should just kind of work by itself. So on the next slide. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week or early next week, we can have some sort of optional training if people are interested in using it. There's a work in progress doc that has been started. You can see it there when this presentation gets shared around, just to have a look about what are best practices for Wrike and also how we're setting it up. And then if you have any questions, just ping me, and I'm more than happy to help. So yeah, any questions, just let me know. That's it from me. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Nabil. Now we jump to Carrie with Kudos DApp update. Carrie?
Hi. I see Richard's also here. So Richard, if you want to jump in at any point, feel free. So I'm just here to give a quick update on the Kudos DApp. And I think actually a lot of you are frequent users, which is really cool. And for those who didn't try it, either like recently or at all, I wanted to kind of let you know how you can access it, like what features it has. So first and foremost, you need to be added to the registry if you're a new user. So ping me to get set up. And we currently have 47 people using it, and that's a mix of core contributors and community contributors. So out of like 62 core contributors, that's not bad. If you're using your status wallet, so first of all, I'm going to show you in the first picture here is how you access it. So you navigate to the DApp section and you input kudos.statusnet.eth. And then the first screen you'll see there is the reward tab. So you have like your weekly balance of Kudos S&T, which gets refreshed on a Friday. And you can see I'm currently at 0 because I've awarded all mine for the week. So what you can do there is just like choose a contributor and an amount that you want to award them in Kudos. And also you can attach a message along with that and send that to them. One thing, if you don't see someone in the list, maybe just nudge them to join and sign up, or maybe it could be that they're using a nickname and not their first name. So just something to watch out for if you're looking to Kudos someone and you can't find them. So currently we're doing like 100 S&T per person per week as the allocation. It's not a huge dollar amount equivalent. At this point in time, it's like more of a symbolic thing, but we do plan to up the amounts starting from next month. So it'll be more like, the value of like a cup of coffee or a beer. So like the people you actually Kudos can buy real world things with the Kudos that you're sending them. So on to the next slide. So the newest feature I wanted to show you here is the leaderboard. And I think this is currently still only visible in admin, but the plan is that everyone should be able to see it eventually. So what this does really, it's kind of cool. It shows you like how many S&Ts in Kudos everyone has received, how much of an allocation they still have that hasn't been used. You can't quite see it on this screen grab, but it also shows like how many individual kind of like Kudos transactions they received. So that's like a really neat way of seeing all the activity. And then in the second screenshot here, you can see the wall. So this is like a kind of feed of all the praise messages that are getting sent along with those kudos as they go from person to person. So that's really cool as well to kind of see those and see all the activity that's taking place. And then in the last picture here on the right, just to show you how you withdraw. So you'll see any kudos that you've been awarded here and the messages that people have sent you along with them. And just at the bottom of the screen, you can't see it here, but if you scroll to the bottom, you see like a withdraw button. And just a note on that as well, that you can't actually withdraw until you've spent down all your allocated kudos. So basically you have to like give to receive essentially. And then, yeah, in the top right of the slide, here's a link where you can report issues, or if you have any like feature requests, just drop them there. And yeah, kudos to Richard and Jonathan who built this. It looks really good and it's been really fun to use, so thank you. And if you have any questions on how to use it or problems, just ping me anytime.
Thanks, Carrie. All right, now we jump to Rachel, and Rachel will lead our swarm updates. Rachel?
Yes, thanks. So I think first up, you can change the slide. We've got core improvements. Is Igor available?
It's me instead of Igor today, so I can provide update. And as you see, we released 2 new releases since the last town hall. It's 12.0 and 12.1. .1 is a small hotfix. They accommodate message gaps functionality and also more reliable way to get messages from mail servers. Also like other smaller bug fixes. And we have quite a lot on our plate that is in progress right now. So more performance improvements for mail servers. It's already been tested and I hope will be released soon. Also quite a big task for moving protocol to status go side, still in progress. And we've done quite a lot of things for sending bug reports with logs to status email. So quite soon you will be able to report an issue and attach logs and send to us. So something that was available long time, okay, not super long time, but still some time ago with Instabug. Now it will be a similar thing, but you control what you send and you can see. And the final thing that is being like we are working right now on is up performance improvements, and also like commenting on Jared's slide. I definitely will check in Wrike how we can tag all tasks for performance improvements so it's more visible. And that's it. That's it for now.
Cool. Thank you, Anna. Next slide. That's the core UI slide. I'm actually going to give this one today. So over the past couple weeks, we've sort of merged the chat, browser, and wallet swarms into one swarm focused on core front-end UI. And that's going to have Andre, Vitaly, Julian, and Eric as the development team. And over the past 2 weeks, we've also been working to define priorities with this new expanded scope in one team. And the two kind of like overarching themes for this swarm for the end of Q2 and probably into Q3 are going to be, first of all, creating a smooth onboarding experience for users and helping them to set up their identity and status using ENS names. And 2, working towards an acceptable wallet experience. So we've had a long backlog for wallet for a while, and we are taking some time to prioritize and ensure that our wallet experience is up to par with other wallets ahead of a public launch. So we spent the last week in particular doing both research and specs for the various epics that we have coming up. And work is now in progress on a few things. First, adding custom tokens, which is a long-standing request from our users for a wallet feature. Second is ENS registration and settings. So we're actually moving ENS registration within the status app. And we decided to do that because it's a vastly improved UX from having it separate as a DApp. And it actually also is not that different. It requires more or less the same level of effort as it would for us to build a sort of complex settings and verification flow to work with the fact that otherwise we have to communicate with the DApp to verify a user's ENS name. And then thirdly, we're also working on some fixes to wallet transaction history so that we'll be able to persist token transactions for longer than 2 weeks, which is a current limitation of the wallet. And some of that work being done by Eric should also lead to improved wallet performance and make it easier for us to build enhancements to the transaction history as well. Also note that Tribute to Talk, we don't have a separate slide for that during this update, so I'll give that now. It's in its hopefully final round of QA, and we are still awaiting feedback from Trail of Bits on Sticker Market, but we've been working with them on that, and hopefully we'll hear back from them soon on anything that they have found. And I think that's it for the slide. So Status Teller Network, Yori?
All right, so we've been doing R&D on the scaling. That means continuing the status site channels, state channel stuff, but also we've been doing R&D on side chains. Namely, we're looking at the POA side chain as one possible way to scale the teller network. And the other thing we've been doing is we're testing in Wrike with not just on desktop, but also on the phone, basically taking multiple roles and really trying to tie things up, fix any bugs, or improve the workflow where we see best fit. And for the next slide, for the DAO, we've been doing something similar. So we deployed to GitHub pages because previously we're kind of running it locally, and we've been doing the same thing, a bit more intensive testing, both on the phone and desktop, and to fix anything that comes up, so we can actually soon do a real usage, hopefully.
Great. Thanks, Yori. Topic democracy, is Ricardo on the call?
Hi. So we are currently developing an opinion pool using the delete proxy. So would be something similar to what we have in the voting DApp, but then we use the delegate to count the votes. And I'm working on using status public chat in the offline boxer to aggregate the signatures, because will be no transactions in these pools, and everything would be like a chat. Everyone says what they voted, and then everyone can read the signatures and calculate the results. And that's it for now.
Okay, and lastly, we have a slide on protocol, which is Oscar.
Yeah, hi. So we're working on minimal viable data synchronization as a proof of concept and integrating into the console client. It's almost sort of end-to-end for the console client. If you click that link, there should be a Twitter, the first link. So, and you can click play. So this is something Dean did, which is essentially sort of syncing of messages across multiple groups and so on. There's some small bugs that we have to figure out, and then we have it sort of end-to-end for the console client, and then there's a bunch of sort of more testing we have to do to deal with bandwidth considerations, and then finally sort of find a way to get it into the main app. Cool. And then back to the slide, please. Yeah, and then we've also been working. I've just been working on topic negotiation for bandwidth saving and compatibility. So this is about sort of moving to more of a device-based approach and figuring out sort of a common topic, whisper topic to discuss, to sort of talk over when you have multiple devices. And the goal here is to sort of save quite a lot of bandwidth, because right now all the private chats are over one topic, while at the same time maintaining compatibility. So that's a must for, it's on the critical path in terms of bandwidth usage and so on. We've also been doing a bunch of research into stateless sync, which is sort of this Bloom filter dispersity based model as a sort of potential complement to the existing minimal viable product, a proof of concept kind of thing. And this is something that could further on help us deal with large group chats and so on. And the research has been mostly centered around sort of what capabilities this would give us, as well as making sure it's compatible with whatever sort of specification we are writing now, so we don't sort of have to start from scratch. Yeah, we also have these bi-weekly calls. Last one, we talked about sort of the layers on the mixnet design, and sort of the first milestone is probably going to be around specifying the sort of mixed packet format. This is Sphinx packet format, as that's the thing that's sort of probably least controversial at this stage. At the last call, we had a bunch of mixed researchers, academics and so on that work at NIM and INRA. So that was pretty cool. There's also going to be a Swarm Summit next week that Jacek and I will attend. And then we merged also the sort of network instrumentation code that Andrea's been working on as in the status quo client now. So that's cool. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Cool. Kudos on your progress and inclusiveness of the community too. I think that's the last Swarm update that we had this week.
That is,
yes. Q&A.
All right, so jumping into Q&A, we have one question that was submitted, or 3 questions that were submitted today in the status town hall questions. The first one is it possible to release V1 in Q2?
No, because after we do all the development, we still need to do auditing on the application.
All right, thanks, Jared. Jumping into the next question. When Ethereum moves to stalking, will that affect the speed of status messages?
Messages don't really happen over the blockchain. It currently uses a sub-protocol of Ethereum called Whisper. So staking doesn't. However, staking will certainly influence block times, ideally. Of course, we're talking about Ethereum 2 at this point. Actually, unless there's an F1.x staking thing, I don't think there is. And in that event, just using the blockchain and using dApps will be faster.
Yeah, and also the staking would also provide us an example on how we can also improve on our systems. So maybe using that, we can provide a better synchronization of messages. Perhaps the protocol Swarm would find something better.
Absolutely. And also, it might even be feasible to stake directly from your phone, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, okay, thanks both you guys. And the last question was, can other currencies like PIVX, XMR, and BTC have a wallet in status?
So we certainly support any sort of ERC20 token. Currently, we are not a multi-blockchain client. So it entirely depends on atomic swaps or decentralized exchanges to be able to support things like Bitcoin, for example.
Okay, and there's actually just one more question that was submitted via YouTube, and it's somebody wrote, I tried asking, okay, wait. I have ZIL tokens in the status app that I sent, but now I need to send to Binance to swap. Okay, I think that might be taken offline. Do you know how to take Zika tokens out of the status app? That was the question submitted.
Well, you need the recovery key, the recovery phrase, and then you can use that. Sorry, Anna, we are going to tell something.
Yeah, right now ZIL token is not available in the list of assets we can manage. So indeed, the only way how you can access them now is to use your recovery phrase and recover it in some other place like Miser wallet or any other wallets that support recovery, or wait for like next big release that we are going to do, where we probably will add custom ERC20 token support. So you can actually add any token, including ZIL1, and you can see it in your wallet. So if you're okay to wait, you can just wait for the next release, next big one, not hotfix, but big release. Or if you want to do it immediately, then use your 12 words mnemonic phrase and recover your wallet in other app that supports zero token. That's it.
Yeah, thanks guys. Does anybody else have any other questions that they want to ask right now? All right, then I think that wraps up our town hall. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a nice day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Vivani.
Cheers.
Take care. Take care, everyone.